Have you ever laid awake at night, staring at the ceiling, asking yourself, why did she do that to me? If you've been hurt by a woman you loved, someone you trusted, then you know that kind of pain isn't just emotional. It's spiritual, existential, like something inside you cracked. But here's the truth no one tells you. How you respond to that pain defines everything. Before we get into it, I want you to do 3 things. First, if you've ever felt broken by someone you cared for, hit that like button. Second, subscribe to this channel, because we dive deep into Stoicism and modern relationships every week. And third, stay until the end, because one of the final suggestions might just change the way you approach love for the rest of your life. Now let's step back in time, to a cold, dimly lit Roman chamber. A man sits alone, writing in his journal. He's not a priest, not a therapist. He's an emperor, Marcus Aurelius, and he's hurting too. His wife Faustina has been rumored to be unfaithful. He doesn't lash out, doesn't burn with vengeance, he writes. And in that journal, his meditations, he left behind what might just be the most powerful guide on how a man should handle emotional pain, especially from a woman. 1. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Do you remember the first time you fell in love? I mean, really fell, head first, heart wide open, no breaks. Maybe it started with her laugh, or the way she looked at you like you were the only man in the universe. Do you remember that first late-night conversation where hours felt like minutes? Where you thought, this is it, this is the one. Now fast forward. She's not laughing anymore. She's colder, distant. She says things that cut deep, or worse, says nothing at all. And then it happens. She hurts you. Maybe she walked away when you needed her most. Maybe she broke your trust. Maybe she said something you can't unhear. And now you're here watching this video wondering, how do I handle this pain? Brother, I want you to breathe with me for a second. Seriously, just inhale and exhale, because I want to tell you a truth I wish someone had told me when I was in your shoes. You don't need to fix her. You don't need to control the situation. You just need to take back what was always yours, your mind. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor who ruled over a world of chaos, understood something most modern men forget. You cannot control the actions of others, but you can control how you interpret those actions. So ask yourself, are you hurting because she hurt you, or because you're clinging to the expectation that she should have acted differently? Now I know that sounds harsh, but this isn't about blaming you. It's about empowering you. Think back to the beginning of your relationship again. Who were you before her? What made you smile? What gave your life meaning? See, the pain you're feeling right now, it's real. I'm not here to deny it, but that pain is like a fire, and you can let it burn your house down. Or you can throw wood on it and use it to cook a feast that feeds your soul. You're not weak because you feel, you're strong because you're still standing. Let me share something real. A few years ago, I was in love with a woman who I thought was my future, but slowly she started pulling away. I tried harder, bought her things, wrote her letters, but nothing worked. When she left, it felt like my identity left with her. But then I found this quote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." And for the first time, I realized she didn't break me. I gave her the power to do so. And that meant I could take that power back. So I started journaling, meditating, getting stronger. And you know what? The day came when I looked in the mirror and saw me again. Not a broken man, but a man who had reclaimed his mind. You can do the same. So here's what I want from you. In the comments, tell me the one thing you loved most about her, but also, tell me the one thing you love about yourself that you forgot because of her. Because this story, it's not about her. It's about you. And we're just getting started. Stick with me. What comes next might be the moment everything changes. 2. If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake in any thought or action, I shall gladly change. It is the truth I seek. When you think back to the woman who hurt you, was she all bad? I know it's easy to say yes, to paint her like the villain in a movie, to see yourself as the innocent hero who just got stabbed in the back. But let's pause right there. Have you ever watched a breakup movie and realized, wait a minute, the main character kinda messed up too? Sometimes we're not just the one who got hurt. We're the one who let things slide, ignored the signs, maybe even fed the fire. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, one of the most powerful men to ever walk this earth, wrote something profoundly humble. He said, "If someone can prove me wrong and show me my mistake, I shall gladly change. It is the truth I seek." Now I want you to imagine this. You're in a quiet room. The relationship is over. You're sitting with your thoughts, your memories, all the little moments that now feel like emotional landmines. And then it hits you. Maybe she wasn't perfect. But maybe you weren't either. That doesn't mean you deserve the pain. No one deserves betrayal, manipulation, or emotional games. But let me ask you this, and I want you to be brutally honest. Did you ignore your gut? Did you pretend red flags were just small issues? Did you lose yourself in trying to keep her happy? Even when she was draining your soul? I remember my own version of this moment. She wasn't cruel, not at first. But I started to feel small. Less of myself. Like I had to walk on eggshells just to keep her from leaving. I saw it, I felt it, but I didn't say anything. Why? Because I was afraid. Afraid that if I spoke up, I'd lose her. But here's the twist, I lost her anyway. And the hardest truth? I also lost myself. When Marcus says it is the truth I seek, he's not talking about her truth. He's talking about yours. The truth of your mistakes. Your silence, your fear. Not to shame you, but to set you free. You see, growth doesn't come from blaming her. Growth comes from asking, what did this pain reveal about me? So I'll ask you again, what did you let slide because you loved her? What truths were whispering in your ear that you ignored because your heart didn't want to believe them? I want you to drop it in the comments. Share just one moment you stayed silent when you should have spoken up. And more importantly, share how you plan to never repeat that mistake again. Because when you finally face your part in the story, you don't become weaker. You become wiser. You stop needing her to apologize because you've already learned the lesson. And man, that's where the real strength begins. So don't go anywhere. We're just getting warmed up. What's coming next might be the line that heals you in a way you never expected. 3. Don't hanker after what you don't have. Instead, fix your attention on the finest and best that you have. And imagine how much you would long for these if they weren't in your possession. What's the one thing you miss the most about her? Is it her scent lingering on your hoodie? The way she'd fall asleep on your chest like you were her whole world? Or maybe just the sound of her voice saying your name like it meant something special? It's okay to admit that you miss her. You're human. I missed her too. I missed the way we'd hold hands during long drives with no destination. I missed how she'd steal fries off my plate and laugh, like a kid doing something mischievous. But slowly, over time, I started to realize I wasn't missing her. I was missing what I thought we were. See, heartbreak has a cruel way of tricking your mind. It makes you forget the arguments, the cold silences, the emotional distance, and it amplifies the memories that made you feel alive. Marcus Aurelius knew this. He warned us, don't hanker after what you don't have. Because when you crave something that's already gone, you don't just lose the person. You lose yourself in the illusion of what once was. I want to ask you something now, and I want you to really sit with this. What parts of yourself did you start to abandon while you were chasing her love? Your passions, your peace, your purpose? You used to hit the gym. You used to dream bigger. You used to smile more. But somewhere along the way, your entire world started orbiting around her. And now that she's gone, it feels like your universe collapsed. But it didn't. It's just giving you space to rebuild. When Marcus says, fix your attention on the finest and best that you have, he's not talking about money or status. He's talking about the quiet things. Your freedom, your mind, your brotherhood, your potential. Do you realize how powerful that is? What if I told you 5 years from now, you'll look back at this heartbreak and thank it because it reminded you of everything you forgot about yourself? So here's your challenge. Right now in the comments, I want you to write down 3 things you used to love about your life before her. And then write one small action you're going to take today to reconnect with that part of you. Because this isn't about moving on from her. It's about moving back to you. And once you do that, once you fall in love with your life again, you won't be craving the past. You'll be building something even more beautiful. And trust me, brother, what's coming next in this video, it's going to hit even deeper. So stay with me. Don't go anywhere. We're only just beginning to bring you back home. 4. Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been. What if the pain you're carrying right now isn't because of what she did, but because of what you're telling yourself about what she did? Now hold on. I'm not saying she didn't hurt you. I'm not saying she didn't betray you or walk away without explanation. She did. She left. She said those words. She stopped choosing you. But the truth is, the story you're replaying in your head over and over again, That's where the real suffering lives. See, I used to lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, asking questions I'd never get answers to. Why wasn't I enough? Did she ever really love me? Was everything just fake? And with every question I felt more broken, more angry, more worthless. But then I read this quote: "Choose not to be harmed and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed and you haven't been." And I thought, how can that be true? But then it hit me. She didn't hurt me with her actions. I hurt myself by choosing to stay wounded. Let me ask you something raw. Have you ever replayed a moment from your relationship so many times that it became a movie in your head? Maybe it was the moment she said, "I need space," or the time she started acting cold, and you knew something was off, but you stayed silent anyway. You relive it over and over. But here's the thing, you're the one pressing play. Marcus is trying to teach us something radical. You get to choose whether or not someone's actions have power over your peace. Let me tell you a piece of my own story. There was a night I remember vividly. She had just left. I was staring at my phone, scrolling through old pictures, trying to make sense of it all. And I saw a photo where we looked so happy. You ever seen one of those? Where your smile is so real it hurts? I stared at that picture and whispered out loud, how could she leave this? And then something inside me shifted. I realized I was giving her the power to define my worth. I was choosing to feel harmed again and again. But what if I chose not to? What if I decided her walking away didn't mean I was unlovable? What if her silence didn't mean I was inadequate? What if her decision said more about her than it ever did about me? That's when I took my power back. And brother, you can too. So here's your moment of truth. Drop a comment below, tell me one thing you've been blaming yourself for since she left. And then say this out loud: I choose not to feel harmed. You don't need closure from her. You need freedom from the story that's been keeping you stuck. And in the next part of this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to keep rising. So don't click away, don't look back. We're healing forward from this moment on. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Be honest with me, have you ever fantasized about getting revenge? I mean, not in a violent or crazy way, but just showing her, making her regret ever letting you go. Maybe posting those gym progress pics, maybe talking to someone new and hoping she sees it. Maybe pretending like you don't care, even when you're shattered inside. I've been there. After she left, I used to daydream about running into her, looking my best, smiling like I've moved on. Deep down, I didn't want peace. I wanted her to hurt the way I was hurting. But then I stumbled across these words from Marcus Aurelius. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. And that line stopped me cold, because I realized something. If I spend all my time trying to get back at her, then I'm still chained to her, still living in her shadow, still letting her write the next chapter of my story. Let me ask you, are you building your life around healing or around hurting her back? Because the truth is, real strength isn't walking past her and pretending you're okay. Real strength is walking past her and genuinely being okay. I want you to remember who you were before the heartbreak. You had dreams, discipline, drive. You wanted more out of life than just being loved by one woman. So why let her pull you into bitterness? When she lied, you stayed honest. When she disrespected you, you kept your dignity. When she walked away, you stood tall even if your heart was breaking. Brother, that's not weakness. That's warrior-level strength. You don't have to become cold to prove you're over it. You don't have to play games or flex online to get her attention. You're not here to mirror her behavior. You're here to rise above it. Let me tell you what I did when the pain peaked. Instead of texting her or trying to make her jealous, I picked up a notebook. I wrote down who I wanted to become. Not for her. Not for revenge. For me. That notebook turned into discipline. That discipline turned into peace. And that peace? It became the kind of energy no ex can ignore. But by then, I didn't need her to notice, because I was whole again. So here's what I want you to do. In the comments, write one act of growth you're going to commit to, not to show her what she lost, but to show yourself what you're capable of. It could be hitting the gym, starting that side hustle, or even just journaling every morning, because you are the revenge story, not in bitterness, but in becoming the man who no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. And the next part of this journey, it's going to take you even deeper into your own power. So stay right here, brother, because this isn't where your story ends. 6. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. How many nights have you laid there staring at your phone, wondering if she's thinking about you too? How many mornings have you woken up with that lump in your throat, hoping there's a message from her even though you know deep down it's over? Be honest with me. Have you given her control over how you feel, even when she's no longer in your life? If you have, you're not alone. I did too. I remember the day she left. The silence that followed wasn't peaceful, it was loud. Louder than any argument we ever had. My heart was no longer mine. It belonged to her memory. Every part of my mood, my confidence, even my sleep, was being dictated by someone who wasn't even checking on me anymore. And that's when I found these words. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor with empires to rule, wars to fight, and betrayals to deal with. He understood what so many of us forget. You can't control her leaving. You can't control who she's texting now. You can't control what she thinks about you, but you can control what you think about you. Let me ask you this. Why are you still handing her the remote control to your emotions? Why are you waiting on her to validate your worth when you have the power to define it yourself? Brother, this isn't just about heartbreak. This is about freedom. You see, I started doing something simple every day, just 5 minutes. I would sit down, breathe deeply, and say to myself, she does not control me. This pain does not own me. I have power over my mind. And slowly things began to shift. I stopped obsessing over who she was with. I stopped wondering if she missed me. And I started building me again. That power? It was never gone. It was just buried under heartbreak. So here's what I want you to do right now. In the comments, I want you to write, I reclaim my mind. Say it out loud. Feel it in your chest. Because once you take back your inner world, nothing she does on the outside can break you again. Your strength isn't in pretending you don't care. It's in realizing you control how deeply you let it affect you. This is your turning point. 7. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Since she left, have you ever caught yourself doing things just to make her jealous? Maybe posting that gym mirror selfie with a half caption, hoping she'd see it. Or saying things to friends like, I never really cared about her anyway. Even though your chest still aches every time you hear her name. Yeah, I've been there too. We tell ourselves these little lies to feel strong, to feel like we're winning, to feel like we didn't care as much as we did. But brother, we did care. You did care. You gave her parts of yourself that you hadn't given to anyone else. And now that she's gone, the silence feels louder than ever. But Marcus Aurelius says something so powerful here. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. And that hit me like a punch in the gut the first time I read it, because I realized something. Every time I posted for attention, every time I talked behind her back just to feel bigger, every time I pretended I was fine when I was shattered inside, I was lying to myself. I was trying to cover my wounds with ego, but ego doesn't heal, it hides. Let me tell you a moment from my story. About 2 weeks after the breakup, she posted a story with another guy. You know that moment? That sick feeling in your stomach? I felt rage, jealousy, sadness, everything at once. And what did I do? I opened Instagram, found my best picture, wrote some smooth caption, made sure I looked unbothered, even though I hadn't slept in 3 nights. And then I waited. Waited for her to see it, waited for her to text me, waited for something that never came. And that's when it hit me. None of it was true. I wasn't fine. I wasn't healed. And pretending I was didn't help me move on. It just dragged me deeper into pretending. So I stopped. I stopped lying to myself, stopped pretending to be okay, and instead I started doing what was right. I journaled. I went to the gym for me. I stayed quiet when I wanted to lash out. Because healing doesn't come from trying to win. It comes from trying to grow. So let me ask you this. Are you posting for her or for you? Are you saying you're over it but still checking her profile at 2 a.m.? Be honest with me, with yourself. Drop a comment right now and write, no more pretending. I'm healing the right way, because when you live in truth, you walk in peace. And peace, my brother, is more powerful than any revenge post you could ever write. Stay with me, because the next part, it's going to teach you how to love again with strength, not fear. 8. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Have you ever sat with your friends talking about how you should have been treated? Like a real woman wouldn't have done that. Or she didn't deserve a guy like me. We all do it. You start venting about how loyal you were, how you never lied, never looked at another woman. You start crafting this image of what the ideal man looks like and convincing yourself that you were it, and maybe you were. But here's the twist. Are you still being that man, even after she broke you? Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." That line changed me, man. Because after she left, I found myself talking more than doing, telling myself I was the victim, that I was the one who was good, that she lost something valuable, but my actions didn't reflect that. I stopped working out. I started stalking her online. I wasn't showing up to my goals. I was talking like a king, but living like a ghost of who I used to be. And that's the thing, brother. Being a good man isn't something you earn just because she broke your heart. It's something you become, especially after you've been hurt. You don't become stronger by winning the breakup. You become stronger by rebuilding yourself without needing her to validate it. So let me tell you about the day everything shifted for me. I was walking past the mirror and barely recognized myself. Not because I looked different, but because I felt different. I wasn't proud of who I had become. I was reactionary. I was emotional. I was lost. And then I remembered those words. Be one. So I stopped asking, what would make her regret this? And I started asking, what would a real man do? Would he argue online with her new guy? No. Would he drown himself in scrolling, searching, overthinking? No. He would rise. He would pick up his pain and build something out of it. So that's what I started doing, little by little. Not for her, not for social media, for the man in the mirror. Let me ask you this now. Are you being the man you talk about? Or just arguing about who you should have been treated like? Drop a comment right now that says, I choose action over excuses. Because every day you wake up and decide to become better, without needing revenge, without needing her attention, you become unshakable. You become the kind of man who doesn't just talk about being great. He proves it. 9. Don't let your reflection on the whole sweep of life crush you. Don't fill your mind with all the bad things that might still happen. Stay focused on the present situation. How often do you catch yourself staring at the ceiling at 2 a.m., replaying everything that went wrong? Thinking things like, what if I had said something different that day? What if I had held her tighter when she cried? What if I never meet someone like her again? You scroll through old pictures, old texts, and suddenly, you're not in your bed anymore. You're back in her arms in that coffee shop where she laughed at your dumb jokes. You're back in that moment when she looked at you like you were her world. And then just as fast, you're back in that fight, back in the silence, back in the moment she walked away. Brother, I've been there, more times than I care to admit. But Marcus Aurelius, this ancient king of discipline and emotion, he left us a lifeline. Don't let your reflection on the whole sweep of life crush you. Stay focused on the present situation. Let me tell you what that means. Through something that happened to me. There was a night, not long after the breakup, when I was in my car, alone, parked in front of our old spot. The playlist we used to share was playing, and I completely broke down. I wasn't crying about that night. I was crying about every night we could have had, but didn't. I was mourning a future that never happened. But here's the truth. You can't heal in the past, and you can't build in the future. You can only breathe in the now. So that night I turned off the playlist, took a deep breath, and asked myself one thing. What can I do right now? Just right now. And you know what I did? I went home. I drank a full glass of water. I opened a notebook and wrote, right now I'm hurt, but right now I'm breathing, and that's enough. Sounds small, right? But that was the beginning of my healing. Because pain multiplies when you stretch it across time, when you relive the past and fear the future. But strength? Strength is built moment by moment. So I'm asking you right now, not yesterday, not next week. What can you do today to love yourself better? What can you do this hour to become the man you know you're meant to be? Drop this in the comments right now. I choose presence over pain. Because the truth is, she's not in your future. But you are. And if you stay here with me grounded in the now, you'll start to see the weight lift. And what's coming next? It might just be the piece that finally helps you let go. 10. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Have you ever been in a situation where everything just seemed impossible? Like every time you tried to move forward, something knocked you back. Maybe you tried to move on from her, but every song on the radio reminded you of her laugh. Maybe you finally decided to go out with your friends, But the moment you walked in, you saw her favorite drink on the table, and it felt like someone ripped the air from your lungs. It's hard, isn't it? I know it is, and it feels like you'll never break free from that, like the pain will never end. But what if I told you that this pain, this feeling of being stuck, is actually the thing that's going to set you free? Marcus Aurelius, he really understood this. He didn't just give us words to survive hard times, he gave us a way to turn those struggles into strengths. His words, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." It took me a while to truly understand this, but let me tell you something powerful. There was a time right after the breakup when I thought I couldn't breathe without her. I would see her face in every corner of my world. But instead of letting it crush me, I decided to make the pain work for me. I started to walk through the very thing I was most afraid of. I went to the places we used to go on my own. I played that song she loved, not to cry, but to remind myself that I could handle the memories without breaking. You see, I realized that the very thing that hurts you is often the path that will heal you. It's like the weight you carry becomes the muscle you build. Let me ask you something, brother. When was the last time you stopped running from your pain? When was the last time you stood face to face with your fears and realized that they can only hurt you if you let them? I remember standing in front of the mirror one day, exhausted from all the self-pity and anger. I was sick of feeling stuck, and I asked myself, what is it about this situation that can make me better? That day, I decided to turn the very obstacle into the path forward. I stopped seeing her absence as something that would hold me back. Instead, I saw it as the opportunity to rebuild myself. I began to invest in my health, to reconnect with my passions, to be present with my family. What stood in the way of my happiness? And once I understood that, everything changed. So I'm asking you right now, what's standing in your way? What's that one thing that keeps you awake at night, stopping you from moving on? I want you to think about it. And in the comments, tell me this. What stands in my way is the way forward. Because, my friend, this is the key to your strength. The very thing that's making you feel powerless right now, that's your opportunity to turn it around and become the best version of yourself. Stay with me, because this journey of healing, it's not over yet. And what comes next could change everything for you. She hurt you, yes, but you get to choose. Do you become the man who's forever wounded, or the man who transformed because of it? You get to choose. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.